I had the blues because I had no shoes, until upon the street I met a man who had no feet. I'm Chris Story, your host for Great Adventures in Real Estate. I hope you can stay with me for the entire hour. Got an incredible program for you here on KPEN FM 102. David Webb is back in the chair where he belongs, engineering and producing this program back up at the mothership of KPEN FM 102. Got a great show. I mean, all kinds of stuff. What we can do? And we've got a mortgage moment brought to you by Residential Mortgage. We're going to find out what today's mortgage rates are doing, and can we really trust the Mortgage Bankers Association when they say that we've seen an uptick in the last week of applications, refinance, and purchase? Is that, in other words, when I say trust, I mean, does it apply here in Alaska? We'll talk about that. Also, do you know what's going to pay you back when you make a home improvement, and how can you be sure that what the home improvements you're making are actually going to either pay you back or be more marketable, make your home more marketable? We'll talk about that as well. We're going to be joined by a special member of the Story team. Amanda Metke is going to bring you your deal of the decade here at Story Real Estate, much, much more. But first, today in history, that's right, who could forget on this day, the 18th day of September, President George Washington laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol in 1793. George Washington laid the cornerstone. Think about that. There's a lot of history in just that one stone. Just fantastic. You know the thing I love most about George Washington? Not just that he had wooden teeth, we think, but that he said no. They wanted him, they being the citizens and the Congress, wanted him to take on the role of almost a king. And he said, no, I'll be the president, but no, this far, no further. And he understood that was too much power for one man. We just fought off a king, and George Washington resisted that power that was thrust upon him, or at least in his direction. Hey, it's Greta Garbo's birthday, born today in 1905. Did you know she was from Stockholm, Sweden, by the way? I can't say that I've seen a single movie of hers, nor probably will I. And it's nothing against Greta. I've told you this before. I don't like old movies. I don't know. Don't judge me. Maybe you like things that I don't like. Today in 1970, Jimi Hendrix died of a drug overdose. I often cite Jimi Hendrix as being the bellwether of heroin. In other words, when I grew up, that's what heroin meant to me. In other words, you die. Use heroin, die. Today, heroin is rampant across the country. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think maybe it's a different form or whatever. It's just as awful, just as heinous, but it seems to be just widespread, and it's a very unfortunate. Happy birthday to my Uncle Joe. Joseph Story was born on this day, the 18th of September, in 1779. He died in 1845, and you'll recall Uncle Joe was an American Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's a quote that I think is important to understand, that the Story family for a long time has been looking out for your constitutional rights, to include, and maybe beginning with Uncle Joseph, and that was about 1811, as family lore goes. Was it 1811? Yes, it was, as I recall, 1811 that he began his work with the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's something he said that will interest you. The right of the citizens to keep and bear arms has justly been considered as the palladium of the liberties of the Republic, since it offers a strong moral check against the usurpation and arbitrary power of rulers, and will generally, even if these are successful in the first instance, enable the people to resist and triumph over them. The right to keep and bear arms in your home, on your person. Very important. So I woke up today. Do you believe in irony? Is it irony? I don't know. I'm going to let you decide. Is this ironic, or is this coincidence, or is this an ironic coincidence that just yesterday I wrote it on Top of the World? It's not been recorded yet, so you haven't heard this particular On Top of the World radio segment yet. But I wrote this yesterday, and today I woke up without any water. And the title of this On Top of the World that I reference is called, Do You Have Enough? Well, you'd rightly ask, enough what? Good question, I wrote. Let's say enough food and water. Do you have enough food and clean drinking water? Okay, now, the On Top of the World segment goes on, and I'll save it so it'll be a surprise for you. But that's what I wrote yesterday. Do you have enough food and clean drinking water. And today, I woke up with no water. No water. This is the weirdest thing. It's been going around the story team. So it first started with Misty, no water, then moved to Amanda, no water, and now the stories this morning woke up with no water. Those two are on wells. We're on city water. I wake up not an ounce, not a drop. Now, sometimes you run low on pressure, whatever. I'm talking about zero water. Not the kind of cool waters you can buy in a bottle either, that zero water. I'm talking about absolutely no water. Well, I wasn't prepared. I come to you today to confess my own sins, that I'm not prepared in the event that we run out of water. I didn't have anything. So what I did have was some fears. Can you imagine what ran through my mind first when I found out we had no water? What do you think ran through my mind first? No, you're probably thinking drinking water, bathing, hygiene, toilets flushing, etc. Is that what you were thinking? That's not what went through my mind. All right? What went through my mind was, oh, my Lord, how am I going to make coffee today? And guess what happened? I had just enough between a glass of water on my bedside that I did not finish and a glass of water at evening's end that I did not finish. It was out in the kitchen. And all of that combined filled enough up that I could make a pot of coffee. That was my number one priority. Does that mean I'm addicted? Yeah, I think so. I do think so. So it reminds me, though, that we should all have, you know what else I'm going to tell you? I shouldn't. Tiffany's rolling her eyes right now saying, don't do it, Chris. Don't tell them. Don't do it. Chris, don't do it. Don't tell them. All right, I'm going to tell you. I actually went into a little bit of a panic mode. Mind you, this is 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't just go to the neighbor. I can't go downtown. I can't come here to the office. Well, what if the whole town's out of water? So my mind is racing. I've got an addiction. I admit it. I'm addicted. Okay? I actually started to think about how bad is the toilet water in the back of the tank. I'm not kidding. I actually started thinking, is it really rusty? How bad is that? Because I could make coffee out of that. That's the only reservoir in the house. I could make some coffee out of that. Not the bowl. I said the tank. I'm not that sick. I'm not that addicted. Anyway, we should all have storage of drinking water. We should all have gallons and gallons of water on hand in the event that something like this should happen cataclysmically. By the way, this is why you're required to have earthquake straps on your hot water heater. It does act as a 50-gallon reserve in the event of some sort of a catastrophe. So anyway, I decided that it was going to be, no matter what, a beautiful day. Here's a little U2 for you, a beautiful day. I'm Christopher Story along with David Webb and David Becker engineering this program. We'll be back with more here on Radio Realty.
Is a blue shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room.
I'm Chris Story. You're listening to what my mom calls the greatest show on earth. Radio Realty begins and ends with something that you and I have in common: liberty, freedom, private property rights, and all things prosperous and possible. Broadcasting live today from the corner of West Hill and the Sterling Highway at the Story Real Estate headquarters and home of the Story Team. Speaking of the Story Team, Amanda Metke is going to join me after 1 o'clock. We're going to be talking about the deal of the decade, brought to you by Story Real Estate. Hilda Stepkins will be in with our mortgage moment. We're going to find out what today's rates are and what you need to know. Also, how can you improve? And gentlemen, you're going to be upset with me if your ladies are listening, but how can you improve your curb appeal like that this weekend? It's a little bit of a project, but you can do it for less than $50, and you can have curb appeal like crazy. Okay? All right, here we go. Your word of the day brought to you by TBC Radio, affordable marketing custom for your business. If you're in the local marketplace, let's say in Kodiak Island, say for example, and you want to target just your customers, just those on Kodiak Island, you can do it, and you can afford it through TBC Radio. Every business can. Call Josiah today and see if TBC Radio is right for you. In Kodiak, call 486-0210, 486-0210. You're asking for Josiah, and tell him Chris sent you. Guaranteed you'll be happy you did. Call TBC Radio. Your word of the day brought to you by TBC Radio. Hegemony. I love this word. Hegemony. Hegemony. A dominant influence or authority over others. Dominant influence or authority over others. The second definition would be the social, cultural, or ideological, or economic influence exerted by a dominant group over others. Used in a sentence, if you would, please. Consumers welcome the diversification of the software market as smaller innovators challenge the hegemony of the large companies. Use it. Use it with a friend today, later. Don't tell him you heard it here. Just use it and say, "Oh, are you concerned about the story real estate hegemony over the real estate market here in Houma and Anchor Point?" Use it. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to sound as cool as I just did. Happy birthday to Marianne at Blackwater Bend Espresso. Pat and Kate and everyone at Blackwater Bend want to wish you, Marianne, a very happy birthday. May this be the best birthday ever. Turning 28, I hear. Again. Will your next home improvement pay you back? Well, let's look at a couple of studies that were done recently, and these are the top 5 things that I thought were kind of interesting for you to consider. So now think about that, though, as far as the pay you back. We'll talk about this later because I have a question from Roger, and I want to answer it on air regarding a garage. I'll answer that later on air regarding a garage. But I want you to think in terms of payback, return on investment. It's not just the return dollar for dollar. There's another aspect of when you make an investment in improving your home that can pay you back. Actually, it's twofold. One is marketability. The other is enjoyment, use of the improvement for your own sake. So we'll talk about that as I answer Roger's question, but let's look at the top 5 remodeling projects and look at their rate of return at resale. So number 1 would be a home office remodel. We've talked about this before as these studies come out. That's really something that isn't necessarily going to pay you back $1. I wouldn't do it unless, what? You work from home and your job requires it. Come on. So they say, though, they, being the researchers, say you'll get 48%. So almost 50 cents out of the dollar. Not horrible. A sunroom addition, though, will bring you 51 cents per dollar. A bathroom addition, 60 cents. A backup power generator, 67 cents. Now, see, I think that's going to fluctuate depending upon where you're at. So in Alaska, maybe just a little bit higher to have that generation system. And then finally, your master suite edition, 70 cents as well. Now, they're saying an estimate of $103,000 to remodel a master suite. What are they remodeling it with? Gold? Come on. And listen, it's a total edition. I'd like to see that master suite. By the way, I'm being kicked out. Well, I'll talk about that in a little bit. It's sort of a personal subject. Tiffany told me this morning that I've got just a limited amount of time, and then I'm being kicked out. So I'll tell you what that means, and we'll bring you our mortgage moment, brought to you by Residential Mortgage with Hilda Stepkins here on Radio Realty. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Radio Realty. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in Real Estate. You're listening just in time for Mortgage Moment, brought to you by Residential Mortgage. And here with me is Hilda Stepkins. Good afternoon, Hilda. How are you doing?
Hi, listeners. Hi, Chris. I'm doing great. Hope everybody else is doing wonderful, too.
You know, I just saw recently here that loan activity rebounds in latest week. Now, this is the week-over-week study of loan applications, mortgage applications for both purchase and refi. And this is interesting, Hilda. The MBA, the Mortgage Bankers Association, seasonally adjusted index of mortgage applications rose to a 7.9% spike over the previous week, which was down 7.2 from the previous week. So that's like a 15-point swing in less than 2 weeks. I'm wondering, are you seeing an increase in either home purchase mortgage applications or refi?
Well, that explains why I'm so busy lately.
Aha.
Yeah, no, there definitely is more activity. But, you know, this time of year, as soon as school starts, summer is over, it happens pretty typical. People get back to their life and think about buying, selling, and are done with school holidays. And now we often see a spike in interest before the winter sets in and everybody battens down the hatches for winter.
All right. Now, by interest, you mean a spike in interest. You mean a spike in people's interest in buying or refinancing, not the interest rates.
Correct.
And what are those interest rates today, then?
Actually, that is a very good question, and I'm glad you pointed that out. No, it's not the rate. Now, rates did go up a tad, just 0.1%. 80% financing, 30-year fixed, conventional loan. We are looking right now at 4.375. and that is an APR of 4.5%, so it went up 0.1% over a couple of weeks ago when we spoke last on the radio. And that's, but it's still a pretty darn good rate.
All right. Now, what about Alaska Housing?
Alaska Housing has, of course, multiple rates, and so we have their basic loan program is the same today as conventional, and then, of course, they have their first-time home buyer, which is 4%, and if you do have an 80% loan-to-value, 30-year fixed, you're looking at 4% and an APR of 4.125, which first-time home buyers typically do not have 20% down, so often we are looking then to combine it with FHA or VA or something like that. And then we also look at what FHA and VA are for a standalone without Alaska Housing. And right now we are still looking at 3.75 for FHA and VA, which would be an APR of probably 4.5 because of the monthly mortgage insurance that needs to be factored in there. That of course is part of the annual percentage rate calculation.
Now, as you look at the time of the year and maybe the time of your life, and you say, maybe I don't want to sell. And this happened to Tiffany and I earlier this year. We thought we wanted to sell our home, and then we actually fell in love with it again and decided not to. So that said, is there any distinction between a refinance with a cash out if you're going to be doing some remodeling and maybe just saying, instead of selling, I'm just going to keep my house and expand it, change it, remodel it, do something to it differently to accommodate my needs? Or is it just a refi with a cash out? Is it just all the same no matter what you're going to go do with that money?
Pretty much, yes. I mean, we just keep it general so that people can do what they choose to do with the cash after they refinance. And that works just fine. And
so the rates that you've already given me, if you qualify for the program, conventional or otherwise, then that rate is the same rate whether you're doing a refi, streamline with cash out, or just getting a lower rate. It's all the same rate, dependent upon, of course, I guess, your credit.
Well, that, and of course, loan purpose does have an impact on discount points. So we kind of need to keep that in mind. Sometimes there's a little bit of a difference whether you have a purchase or a cash-out refi, and the loan-to-value and all of that kind of factors into. When I state rates, it is purchase, 80% loan-to-value.
Okay. All right, so if you're going to go for the refi and you're going to add the garage, you're going to do the $103,000 Master Suite Edition, which I still want to see, then you're going to be looking at a different rate. But that's where you just call Hilda, 888-480-8877, and find out what that rate would be. It's not going to be a lot different, though, is it? I mean, drastically?
No. It's mainly more credit score driven.
Okay.
Based on loan purpose than loan purpose alone. So
You'll find this interesting, Hilda. Did you know that historically, first-time home buyers, there's been this benchmark, according to the National Association of Realtors, there's been this benchmark that first-time home buyers have made up, at least in the last 20 years, 40% of our market. Today, first-time home buyers are right around 28%. Does that surprise you?
No, not really. I mean, it is a significant difference that we are seeing, and I think that is why the activity has been lower. But level mortgage is more difficult. The FHA's monthly mortgage insurance is much higher than it used to be. Credit scores are much more critically viewed. So it is, for an entry level, it is harder today. It's still possible. But
yeah, it's so funny because you're stating exactly what this Daily Real Estate News article says. It says that they've been faced with a couple different things. One is a massive amount of student debt, but also what you just said, stricter underwriting standards made it a little more difficult. So that age range, though, that makes up a bulk of the first-time home buyers, 24 to 35. And I'm seeing in that age bracket of clients that our firm is working with anyway, increase here in the last several months. So I'm hopeful that this whole millennial fear of investment is going to turn around and become an investing generation into the future in real estate.
Well, you see a shift in attitude, which I hope will shift back, but there is this reluctance to become obligated on a huge debt when that generation, that is first-time home buyer, may not be entirely sure where they want to live. They may still be figuring out which area they want to live and buy their first long-term home. that they will be kind of tied to. I think.
Well, exactly. And then how much are they going to spend on it? We just watched a show the other day. Tiff had on HGTV or something, and there's this first-time homebuyer couple, no kids yet. They're probably just bouncing just up to 30 years old, and our budget is $679,000. And then she says, well, we can go a little higher than that. And he says, no, our budget is $679,000. I'm not thinking, what do you sell, crack cocaine? What are you doing? Anyway, I digress. Hilda Stepkins can be reached online 24/7 at homeloansyoucanuse.com. Homeloansyoucanuse.com. Call her at 888-480-8877. Get the home loan that is right for you. Even if this isn't the right time, you can still give Hilda a call and get pre-qualified and figure out where you need to go so you can get a home of your very own. Thank you, Hilda Stepkins.
Thank you, listeners.
And thank you. We'll be back with our AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern Real Estate Trivia Contest when we return here to Radio Realty. All right, you're just in time for your AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern Real Estate Trivia Contest. Now, it's never too late. I am late with the AJ's Old Town Steakhouse question, but I'm not too late, and neither are you. I want you to get this number ready. Just begin to text me now at 299-7653, 299-7653, and you can go to AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern for free. Come on, think about that. Now, you got a special occasion coming up. Maybe you want to celebrate in Old Town. AJ's Old Town Steakhouse is there for you. My dad says the best steak he's had in years. We're talking grade A. Whatever there's above A, that's the grade this beef is. The freshest seafood Alaska's got to offer. And service, yeah. Adrian and her family make you feel right at home at AJ's Old Town Steakhouse. And by the way, if you want to keep up on what's going on down there, like when musical events are happening, things like that, go to Facebook and like and follow AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern. They don't spam you. It's good stuff. You want to know it, and you can keep up on what is going on. Here's your question, and I'll send you there for free. According to a recent Gallup poll, what percentage of Americans think that now is a good time to buy a home? Right now, according to Gallup poll, what percentage of Americans think now is a good time to buy a home? Is it A, 74%, B, 64%, or C, 54%? Come on, enter to win right now. 74, 64, or 54%. Send me a text message with your name and answer, 299-7653. Look at that. They're already coming in, but you can join them. 27. Come on, Story. Have some Blackwater Bend Espresso. Did I already say happy birthday to Marianne at Blackwater Bend Espresso? If I didn't, happy birthday, Marianne. Great coffee. I mean, I'm serious. What do you do if you can't make coffee in the morning and you're addicted like I am? It wouldn't have been pretty. That's all I'm saying. It would not have been pretty. 299-7653. The answer is either 74, 64, or 54% of Americans think now is a good time to buy a home. I'm going to give you a hint. I don't need to, right? I mean, I'm benevolent. I don't need to do this, but I do it because I love you. It's above 50%. It's more than half. It's more than half. Oh, wait a minute. 74, 64, 54. They're all more than half. That's no good hint. All right, it's less than 3/4. I'm amusing myself. If nothing else is happening here, I am amusing myself. Now, remember, I want you to stick around through the news and weather and all that good stuff at the top of the hour. And when we come back to the greatest show on earth, Amanda Metke with the Story Team will bring you this week's Deal of the Decade, brought to you by Story Real Estate. And we're going to talk a little bit about millennials in their housing taste. And here's the reason. Now, you may be tired of hearing about millennials and all that, but here's the reason that I'm bringing it up again. Are you ready for this? In the next 5 years, millennials are projected to spend $1.6 trillion on home purchases. $1.6 trillion. That's a huge deal. It's something we've got to talk about. It's going to be a huge segment of your market. Plus, I'm going to tell you how to accept and get the right offer on your home. And guys and gals, I've got the perfect curb appeal home improvement for less than $50 you can accomplish this weekend. And it'll be fun. You got to do it before the weather turns on you. I'm Chris Story, and David Webb will be back here on what my mom calls the greatest show on earth. You're listening to Radio Realty, what my mom calls the greatest show on earth. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in Real Estate. David Webb is your engineer and broadcast producer back up at the mothership of KPEN FM 102. We'll be here for the next 30 minutes or so. Amanda Metke with the Story team is going to join me in just a moment. We're going to describe and discuss what is a good deal, and does she have the deal of the decade for you, and what is it, and what do you need to know about it? Plus, the Gallup poll discussing your mood. Are you in a good mood or not? And I want to give away at least one, maybe two dinners to AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern on Bunnell Avenue across from the Driftwood Inn in Old Town Homer. And all you need to do is answer a simple question with a textual message. That's going to be easy breezy. And also, one last time, I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, don't hate me for this. Don't. I'm doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor, gentlemen. How about a project for less than $50 that will make your home stand out? You can stand out apart from all your other neighbors, even if they're all listening to this show and do the same thing as you. It doesn't matter. You're still going to stand out. It will cost you less than $50, and you can do it over the course of this weekend. I promise you, you'll be glad you did it. And I'm just going to say, guys, if you surprise your gal and do this without telling her, don't. It's not something you need to do without the help and aid of the feminine touch. Unless you've got a real keen sense of color, you'd actually be borrowing trouble. Offer to do the project and get her help. I'm speaking from experience. All right. Here's your AJ's Old Town Steakhouse and Tavern real estate trivia question. According to a recent Gallup poll, what percentage of Americans think now is a good time to buy a home? What percentage of Americans think that right now, not tomorrow, now is a good time to buy a home? Is it 74%, 64%, or 54%? Text message me your name and answer, 299-7653. 299-7653. And here's what I'm really enjoying about this is that I've got a lot of people doubling up on this, and they're guessing one and then the other. And it's okay. I'm going to just randomly select, and whatever your most recent answer is what it is. So it's okay either way. So I just want you to win. I just want you to enter to win. Let's eliminate one. It's more than 54%. All right, let's eliminate it down to 74% or 64%. See, that's how good this market is. Help me welcome to the program Amanda Metke with the Story team. Hey, Amanda, what's going on?
Hey, Chris. Everything's great.
Oh, see, that's why you fit in so well to the Story team, because we don't have bad days, do we?
Never.
I mean, you read that part of the policy and procedure manual, right? There's no bad days here.
I did. I think I even initialed next to it.
Yes, you did. All right. So we talk about this all the time. The deal of the decade comes around once a week, and I really think that's true. And one home that you listed recently stood out to me as one that would qualify as the deal of the decade. In fact, it's in the Story Real Estate Homer News ad this week, and it's on Eileen Drive. So, Amanda, do you agree with me? I mean, that's a good deal.
It is. It's a great deal. If you're a first-time home buyer or young family, it's a low price. You can get into 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a beautiful view and some acreage.
I know, 4 acres, and it's got a great view. So I don't want to give away the price. I'll let you do that. But for 4 acres, what, 2,500 square feet?
Yep, just over 2,500 square feet.
Now, I would expect most people are probably thinking, okay, view, nearly paved access. You're very barely off the paved road, and you've got 4 acres, 2,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, all this stuff. It's going to be well over 200, but the price is
$179.
Man, I'm telling you, that really is a grand and great deal. And what is the siding? Because I think that's kind of cool too.
What is I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's vinyl sided, right?
Oh, vinyl sided. There's a poured concrete foundation, metal roof.
It's not even on the skids. This is a real house.
It is and I actually want to go back a little bit. I just want to let everyone know that the south end of the North Fork is now paved.
Isn't that cool?
That's important.
That's huge. That's huge because for forever, Thrill Hill has been one of those things. That whole end is very chattered. It's very full of potholes. In fact, I saw a Volkswagen Bug literally get swallowed into that south end of the North Fork one year. So excellent point. And that's like fresh this year, isn't it?
just a few weeks old, actually. And it takes you now like a few minutes to get to the house.
I love it. I love it. And the view is a big deal. I mean, I felt bad when we put the ad together that we didn't have a really good view shot because it's been sort of muggy days every time you've been out there. But it really is a nice view.
Oh, it is. And when the fireweed's blooming, it is absolutely gorgeous, the valleys there.
All right. Let's just say that somebody's gone, all right, enough already, you two. How do we get in touch with you, Amanda Metke, to go and look at this house?
You can call me on my cell, 299-3063, or the office at 226-3993.
3933.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. See, now I feel like I'm involved. Now I feel like I matter. Let me run this by you real quick. So millennials, and I don't want to out you, but you fit into that. Well, you're almost out of the millennial category, but I won't go any further into your age. But I do want to just say this. Does it surprise you that there's going to be, of people in your age range, $1.6 trillion going to be spent on houses in the next 5 years across America? But doesn't it sound outrageously high?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's incredible.
Yeah. Trillion.
1.6 trillion. I know it's a fraction of our debt, but still, that's huge.
Yes, that is gigantic, and you know what? That's great for everyone involved. So
it is actually, yes, it is. All right, Amanda Metke, 226-3933 or 299-3063. Eileen Drive, the deal of the decade. Just to recap, under $200,000. What, 179? You said.
179.
179, 2,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, concrete foundation, view, 4 acres. Thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Chris.
There you have it. The deal of the decade just came around your way. Give Amanda a call right now. You can go out and see it anytime. And I'm telling you, for a first-time home buyer, you want that acreage. You want that space. It even has a garage. Oh, man, come on already. 226-3933 for Amanda or 299-3063. I'm Chris Story. We're going to go on a little further with the AJ's Old Town Steakhouse real estate trivia question when we return. Also, I want to talk to you about your mood and whether or not you comply with the daily poll done by Gallup. And we're also going to get to that one little improvement you could do over the weekend and completely revolutionize the front of your house for less than $50. I'm Chris Story. Stand by for more here on Radio Realty. All right, I've got your questions. I've got a question from Roger. I want to talk about that. And I want to pick a winner for the AJ's Old Town Steakhouse real estate question, and I'll do that momentarily. Let me give it out one more time. 299-7653 is the number to text with your name and answer. According to a recent Gallup poll, what percentage of Americans think now is a good time to buy a home? 74% or 64%. We narrowed it down for you, by the way. I'm Chris Story, along with Dave Webb, your engineer and producer back up at the mothership, KPDN FM 102. All right, here's the question. Chris, is it worthwhile for resale to build a garage? My answer equals another question. How long are you going to be in the home? How long will you live there? Another question, are you going to use it? And I guess maybe the third and just as important question, will you enjoy it? So if you're going to be there for a while, you're going to actually use it, and you'll enjoy it. I kind of don't really care so much about the resale value of it, the return on the investment, say dollar per dollar for your garage. Now, I don't want you to go and do anything crazy, Roger, like build a big garage mahal and all that you'll never recoup even 60% of it. But I just mean, I'm not so worried that you're going to see a bump in appraised value significantly more or even equal to what you have into it if you're going to be there for 3 to 5 years. That's the magic number, 3 to 5 years. If you're not going to be there, you're not sure, you're thinking 18 to 24 months, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it unless you live in some crazy snow line that everybody's got a garage. People won't even look at you if you don't have a garage. Now, maybe you're in Delta. Maybe you're up on, here in Homer, say, for example, maybe you're way up on top of Bald Mountain or Olson Mountain or Skyline, way up out east, and you get like 8 feet of snow in one winter, and that's not completely uncommon. Maybe you just need to look at this for a resale. But I'm going to get to that in a second because we're going to reinvent you and I are going to reinvent what it means to get a return on something. So we'll get to that in a second. But if you build a garage yourself, you've got materials. Let's just say you already own the materials. You're going to get most of the money back, but for the most part, you're not. So let's reinvent what I want you to do and look at. If you're going to be there 3 to 5 years, do it. If you're going to use it, do it. If you're going to enjoy it, definitely do it. Anything no on those, forget it. Market return on investment. Your MOI, M-O-I, your marketability return on investment. All right, so now through my conversation with Roger, I was able to learn, doing this back and forth, they've already got a garage. They've already got a single-car garage, but it's being utilized by their water tank. So they've got their water tank in there, and they could build an auxiliary building, move the water tank to the auxiliary building, reconnect, and have their garage back. And for me, that was my vote. Don't build a garage just so that your other garage can stay used as some subservient boiler room or utility room. Move that out to another little less expensive, inexpensive, dare I say, cheap building to build and maintain versus a separate detached garage or even adding on. That's way more costly than just moving and rearranging. So for me and my money, because they're likely not going to park in it, aren't in a big snow area, that was for my money, I said, just don't do it. Repurpose the garage you've already got. You're not going to get a return on investment. Now let's go back though and say that you're going to be there for that 3 to 5 years or less. And you will use it, you may or may not use it, may or may not enjoy it. Now, what's the marketability of that investment? So forget the garage for a second. Let's talk additional bathroom. We already know you're going to get just a straight, do it now, sell it tomorrow. You're going to get a 60% return according to studies. All right, 60 cents out of every dollar is going to come back to you in a bathroom remodel. But let's just say that you're going to go and do some sort of a master suite. Maybe you've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and you're going to convert a big closet into a bathroom or something, some auxiliary room or whatever, and you're going to create a master suite. And you're not going to spend 103 like the study projected, but you're going to spend, let's just say, $12,000. You're going to put, about a good half or maybe more into the bathroom, and then you're going to put some of it into moving walls, sheetrock, carpet, flooring, these kinds of things. All right. And you've got now a marketable home to a family where mom and dad want, A, that 3rd bathroom, and B, the master suite. So your marketable return on investment, the marketability, and it comes back to the time value of your money. If you're going to do that to resell it, fine. Even if you only get 80 cents per dollar back, it's fine because guess what? You've got a more marketable, saleable property. It's going to sell faster in less time. You're going to have a wider, think in terms of a pyramid. You've got more buyers down at the bottom looking for that master suite than you do towards the top that don't care. And so your marketable return on investment is going to be higher, in which case then I'm less concerned about the dollar for dollar return. Does that make sense? So we're going from ROI to MOI, marketability return on investment. Actually, it's actually MROI, if I did it that way. MROI. Me and my acronyms. I love acronyms, though. But, Roger, I hope that answers your question, and I wanted to share it with you so you could live vicariously through my conversation with Roger. Be sure to email me anytime. The email address is chris@soldonhomer.com. chris@soldonhomer.com. Tiff and I were talking this morning. Remember I told you earlier she's given me a timeline to be out by? And, you might be thinking, well, geez, shouldn't you be a little bit sad about this? I am to a certain extent because, we've been married for 25 years. Well, it's a quarter of a century in some people's minds. And so for her this morning to tell me that I had a certain amount of time to get out, it is what it is. I accepted it, and I just said, okay, I understand. And, it is what it is. No, not out of the house. No, I'm being kicked out of the bathroom. No, since Zoe's gone, I'm being kicked out of our bathroom, our master suite, and I'm being kicked over into Zoe's bathroom. So, it is what it is. But we got to be thinking about this. And I said, when's the last time? And I've been selling real estate for 12 years. And my father was a builder for many years, long before I got into real estate. My grandparents built their own custom home. going back to 1947 when they got to Anchorage. I mean, I've been around home building and developers and in the real estate business, you know, it's been around me. I've been around it all of my life. I've never once seen what I'm about to tell you. Never once. Is it a missing element from the marketplace? Or is it a solution in search of a problem? Am I trying to sell you a solution to a problem that nobody's got? But I think maybe this morning with the conversation that ensued when I realized that I was being kicked out of our bathroom, maybe I found the perfect solution. Here's what it is. A master suite with 2 bathrooms. No, I don't mean the little water closet with a toilet and the sink and where you're relegated to go do that. And I don't mean a vanity out in the bedroom. I'm talking about 2 actual suites, the his and the hers. Now, the his is probably a 3/4 shower, pedestal sink, whatever, minimalist, sort of a butler bathroom, if you will. There it is, the butler bathroom. Wow, are you writing this down? Seriously, I'm giving you pearls here. This is pearls. Yeah, the butler bathroom, or the bachelor bathroom. There it is. There it is. The bachelor-butler bathroom is minimalist, and then the suite. Got the jetted tub, the tiled shower, the corner, the steam shower. If there's a window, like our bathroom has a nice view. Maybe that's where her bathroom would be. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah, the butler bathroom. I like that. But I hope you didn't worry. No, I'm not being kicked out of the house. No, just being kicked out of the nice bathroom, being kicked over into the teens bathroom, which has been neglected for years. But not to worry. She said she's going to put a coat of paint on it. So, any teen bathroom really, if you're listening, teens, first of all, why aren't you in school? Secondly, just close your ears for just a second. Every teen bathroom that I've seen, for the most part, could use a good coat of fire. I mean, that's about where it's at. All right, your daily Gallup poll on the U.S. mood, the mood of the United States of America. What is your mood as of yesterday? As of yesterday, you were at 44% joy. At first you think, yeah, that's pretty high, right? No, it's not high. That's 4 out of 10 people if you round it down, or 4.5 people to be politically correct. So no, 4 out of 10 people happy and joyful, that's sad. That really is. We need to work on that. Now, 11% said they're experiencing stress and worry in their life. So that's 55%. What are the other 44% or 45% doing? Are they doing what Thoreau suggested, is just living a life of quiet desperation? Man, 44% are happy, 11% are stressed and worried, and 45% are probably living in Colorado just high. I guess. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting, though, that we've got 4 out of 10 people are happy. I want that number to be higher, and there's no pun in that. That's not a pun. Oh, I'm so excited to share this big project with you for less than $50. Now, I would say I'm going to join you in this project, except that it's already done. And I didn't even realize it. It's already done at our place. Maybe it's already done at your house, but it'd be a good time to think about it. It's a project that you can do over this coming weekend for less than $50. You'll improve the marketability, the MOI, of your house. You'll improve your relationship with your significant other because you've been thinking outside the box and you've said, hey, I came up with something. You can even own it for yourself. That's fine. If he or she's not listening, that's fine. Go for it. And then I just think you're going to improve the whole neighborhood because I think it will catch like wildfire, and everybody is going to be doing this after you do. I'll tell you about that. I'll answer the AJ's Old Town Steakhouse real estate question and give you 6 tips for choosing the best offer on your home. I'm going to be talking to you sellers, but buyers, this could be you also. You could use this information sort of counterintuitively, if you will. I'm Chris Story along with David Webb. You're listening to what my mom calls the greatest show on earth. Radio Realty returns right after this. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in Real Estate. All right, I got a problem here. As you can tell this morning, the very fact that I thought about dipping into the toilet tank for coffee water, and you know what? Don't judge me there. Don't judge. Unless you've got the same addiction. Honestly, you wouldn't want me sitting here uncaffeinated. You probably would have tuned out already. I'm not kidding. It's that bad. But I admit it, and I've embraced it, and I'm okay with it. In fact, I'm going to be right there. I just had some coffee. Little Blackwater Blend espresso. That's right. So here's my problem though. And I'm not kidding here. You're gonna find this shocking. This is the first time. This has never happened before on this program. 6 years. Radio Realty, 6 years old, coming up on 7 in June, I think, or April of next year. And I've never once had every single trivia respondent wrong. Not once. Every single answer. And I'm scrolling through, and I've just double-checked here. Double-checking here. Absolutely everyone's wrong. Oh, man. Okay, you that have answered, or maybe you haven't answered, do it again. Come on, key in the right answer. 74% of Americans responded and said now is the right time to buy a home. I was about to get, just text me back. Right answer. Because every single one was wrong. And I think it speaks to the fact that, are we underestimating what, no, it's 74%. Let me get to here it is. Hang on a second. Here's the poll itself. Okay. So this is, as you know. All right. Now we've got some right answers coming through. I like that. See, I'm a benevolent host. But here's, I think, what's going on. Because you're wrong and you're right all at the same time. I think you're right in that you didn't think that this was like, wow, is there a resurgence in the market? And a couple of things that I look for. Number one, I look for, obviously, the stats, the sales. That's number one. But that's not predictive of what's to come. That's what's happened, but predictive of what's to come is more like, here's a couple of informal things I do. Number one, because I'm here in Homer, the greatest place to live ever, people from Anchorage saying, I want to buy something in Homer while I can still afford it. That's one. Another one is, hey, Chris, what's it take to get a real estate license? That's another sign of the marketplace. I'm not kidding, because it's viewed, we are the bellwether, if you will. We're the canary in the cave in the real estate industry that because we wake up unemployed every day. You sell a house, you make a living. You don't sell anything, you make nothing. So that's the little secret there, is that we really do grow and expand with the market expanding. More people want to be in the business. As the market contracts, fewer people want to be in the business. Okay, so go back to 2003. This is about when I got in. I got in 2002, early 2002. In 2003, 81% said now's the time to buy. That went down to 53%. Guess what year? 2008. 81 down to 53%. It has slowly been climbing its way back up to 74%. So to me, that's another indicator, and it's indicative of where we're going to go. It's a predictive of what the market will do. We believe in real estate. We know that it's the best place to hold and grow your wealth. That's why all the wealthy Americans, foreign nationals, and et al. Are doing it. $30 billion invested in the West Coast by the Chinese last year alone. There is in real estate. There's no mistaking it. So I've got to quickly do this tip for this weekend, because I promised it to you. Where'd it go? There it is, the weekend tip. All right. Go glossy. All right. Borrow inspiration from London's lovely row houses, whose owners assert their individuality by painting their doors in high-gloss, bright colors. The reflective sheen of a royal blue, deep green, a crimson, or whatever color you choose will ensure your home stands out from all the others on your street, in your neighborhood, on your block, whatever it is. So go glossy, though. You got to do the glossy paint. Paint your front door a super uber bright color, and I guarantee you will wake up the neighborhood. You'll love it. Every time you come home this winter, you're going to be just all over it, and you're going to go, you know what, Chris Story, at Story Real Estate Radio Realty, thank you. Now, this weekend it's going to be a little work. I know. You got to take the door off its hinges. You got to put some plastic up. You got to put it on the sawhorses. Use a foam roller. Okay, use one of those foam rollers with a little red handle, and you'll roll it on. You're going to look like a pro, because gloss paint is self-leveling. It's going to be fantastic. There's no bugs out there to get stuck on it right now. Last time I painted a door, not so lucky. Had to sand between coats and get rid of the bug guts. bug juice. It was nasty, but right now is the perfect time to do it. Do it this weekend. Paint your door a glossy, bright color. I'm telling you what, she's going to love you for it, coming up with the idea, but let her pick the color. What are you, crazy? Don't pick the color yourself, guys. Let her pick it. Come on, I'm not kidding. That'll save everything. 74% of you think that it's the right time to buy a home. That's good news. All right. Got to pick randomly here. Barry. Whoa. Barry, you're the winner. Lots of other you finally got it right. And I don't say finally diminutively. I mean, I probably asked the question in a poor way. I take the blame. See, that's how benevolent I am. I'm Chris Story. Thank you for tuning in to what my mom calls the greatest show on earth. Join me on Facebook, Story Real Estate, or Chris Story on Top of the World, and you'll hear this program back there at those two places. Thank you, David Webb, for engineering the program. And remember, you really can make $1 million in your own backyard.